What is up guys, Lot of Dividends here and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to walk you through all of my purchases for the month of October. Today we've got the 19th of October, so there's a few days left, but I don't plan on making any more purchases unless there is some crazy dip in a stock that I've been watching. Now you might tell that I've really added quite a few companies, which I'm clearly not going to do for the next months. I'm not planning on adding more than 5 more companies at most. And long term, I'm looking to even sell off some of those companies that I just bought. I'm just not quite sure which ones. So I bought some companies that I am not going to hold for a terribly long period of time, most likely at least. But I'm fine with that. So let's get through all of them, starting with the one that performed the worst since I bought it at the 2nd of October. And this would be Intuit. Now if we look at the chart, we see here, this is where I bought. I used the savings plan, so I was quite lucky that it was really relatively near this little dip. But since Intuit is reasonably highly valued, I'm just looking to dollar cost average into it. And of course, if there's any big opportunities, any big drawbacks, then I will put more money into it. However, this time I just put in 25 euros at a price of 545.2 euros, netting me 0.04511 shares. Next on my list is Qualcomm. This improved already by 2.4%. It's not like I'm buying those in order for them to triple in value in like a few months. So I'd rather have them drop down a bit so I can make cheaper purchases for the next months. But yeah, it is what it is. In any case, Qualcomm, we can see that I bought it on the same day, October 2nd. Also 25 euros at 153.08 euros, netting me about 0.16 shares. Next up on my list, which is already up more than 5%, is MSCI. I also put 25 euros into MSCI at 530 euros and 1 cent, netting me 0.047 shares. MasterCard performed similarly well, up almost 6%, and I also put 25 euros in there at 449 euros and 30 cents, netting me about 0.05 shares. My next position is Salesforce, which is up almost 7% now. And I also put 25 euros into Salesforce at 252.25 euros, netting me about 0.1 share. I also put 25 euros into Booking Holdings. And as you can see, it's up quite dramatically since then. And my 25 euros netted me around 0.006722 shares. At a value of 3,719 euros and 13 cents per share. Pretty expensive share price. Now, as far as Visa is concerned, this one's up 6%, and I made 2 purchases by 25 euros, and then this euro and 26 cents is from my SafeBag. So this is a feature from my broker, which is just whenever I purchase something using the debit card that comes with my broker, I get 1% cash back that I can choose to invest in whatever I wish to invest it into. And this month I chose Visa. So those, 1 euro and 26 cents were basically paid by my broker. I'll take those. And in total, this was 26 euros and 26 cents, netting me about 0.1 share. Now my second to last new position in my portfolio is TSMC or TSM. Which is up already almost 18%, partly due to them reporting earnings a few days ago, when they soared, I don't know, about 10% or so, which is pretty crazy to imagine because I've been holding them for like 2 weeks now and they're up almost 20%. But yeah, again, it's great to see that your stock's up, of course, but on the other hand, I would much prefer, if I'm purchasing some more shares for November, which I'm planning to do, I'd much rather beat them at a lower valuation. So yeah, kind of a double-edged sword. In any case, I also put 25 euros into TSMC at 157 euros and 40 cents, netting me about 0.16 shares. Next on the list, this is ASML. Now they also reported earnings, and contrary to what TSM encountered after reporting their earnings, ASML dropped quite dramatically. So I first bought some shares for 25 euros the 2nd of October, as for all of the rest of them. And then after the drop, I made another purchase of 25 euros. I was thinking about making a bigger purchase then, but I'm not quite so sure about ASML. Like, I believe it's going to do great, but I haven't spent that much time researching it, so I wasn't comfortable enough to throw a lot more money at it. I'm not saying I'm regretting this already, but I kinda am. But yeah, in any case, it is what it is. And the valuation is still reasonable compared to its historical averages. So it's not like the opportunity is over already. Of course, the best point is most likely missed, but I mean, my second purchase was pretty much at the bottom, so can't complain really. So yeah, as you can see, 25 euros on the 2nd of December and another 25 euros 2 weeks after that. And yeah, as you can tell, the second purchase was at a significantly lower valuation. In total, this position is now down about 3%, which is quite a lot better than what I would be down if I hadn't made another purchase. I'm actually just now realizing that this wasn't my last news position. In fact, there's 2 more to go. First, we've got the S&P 500 index, or SPY 5, I believe is the ticker. Yeah, this is a distributing ETF, in case you're American and don't know what the hell I'm talking about if I'm saying distributing. Well, in Europe, the norm is accumulating so that the dividends are automatically reinvested. You don't get those even. And yeah, the share price just appreciates with those dividends already calculated in. But I chose the distributing one for my sweet dividend gains. And I put a total of 150 euros into the S&P 500 index. And I'm planning to dollar cost average into this each month, probably 25 euros. But yeah, more about that later. And now my last position that I added is Microsoft. I first made a purchase of 25 euros at the 2nd of October, as with all of the rest of them. But then there was a small dip. I mean, it wasn't that small, it was like 7-8% within like 1 or 2 hours. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Yeah, it was on the 8th of October and it dipped quite a bit. And so yeah, I bought 2 whole shares of it. So this was a larger purchase and not with savings and not as a savings plan. So this is why I paid €1 fee. But for this amount, this is quite reasonable, I believe. Now, we are through all of the purchases and all the sells. There were no sells this time. This is what my portfolio currently looks like. So we see the biggest position is still Allianz. Next is Vici, which is pretty close, which, yeah, as of market close on Friday, is sitting at exactly 1,000 euros apparently. I mean, I'm pretty sure the math doesn't quite check out, but it's close enough. Then we've got Microsoft, we've got ProCredit Holding, which I'm considering to sell at some point near the future. We've got Hims & Hers, which is up over 50% since I bought into it in, I believe it was September. We've got Realty Income, we've got the S&P 500, and we've got Alphabet, Volkswagen, Roche, and ASML. And then we've got some smaller positions that I'm not going to go through. Most of those I'm going to expand through savings plans. Now, talking about that, what am I planning for investments for the next months? So if you had your calculator with you while watching this video, you might know that I invested a little over 1,000 euros this month, which is something that is simply not sustainable for me. I allowed myself to do this because I've got some cash on hand that I saved up over the last few years without investing it. And so I just want to reduce my cash holding at the moment. For the long term, I believe something like 300 euros per month is probably reasonable, which is something that I can sustain for a long term, as I'm currently studying, because I don't really have the largest income. As soon as I'm done with studying and get a job, of course, this might change. But yeah, there's still a few years to go before this happens. And up to this point, I want to bring up some of my positions that I entered into this month. I like all of them more or less, but most of them I like quite a bit, which is why I entered them, which is a good idea if you hold any stocks that you don't like. I mean, what the hell are you doing? So I'm largely going to dollar cost average into several of these. I already mentioned that I'm going to invest into the S&P 500 index each month, regardless of if there's a new all-time high or whatever. And then I'm going to invest maybe 25, maybe 20 euros, depending on how many stocks I want to buy this month, in a bunch of other stocks. And of course, if there's another big dip, like with Microsoft and ASML, I might consider making a larger one-time purchase into this specific stock. And of course, all dividends will be reinvested into the company that paid them. And with my broker, I'm limited because I can only make purchases that exceed €1 and also only purchases that are rounded to full euros. So for many companies, especially for those smaller ones, I'm going to get payments that are below €1, which is no issue. I'm just going to collect those dividends and sum them up over the months. Now for companies that I'm not so sure about, like ProCredit Holding, I believe they only pay out once a year, and I believe it's going to be somewhere in the middle of next year. So the chances that I will even hold them at that point are rather low, but in case I do, and I still don't want to hold them long term, I'm not going to reinvest the dividends into ProCredit Holding. Instead, I'm just going to put them into the S&P 500 index. So yeah, I think that about sums it up for this video. If you've watched until now, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments which companies did you buy. Did you also detect this little dip in Microsoft? Did you use the ASML dip? And maybe also UNH? There was something that I was also watching, but it wasn't quite large enough for me to enter into a position there. But yeah, let me know what you did this month. And yeah, make sure to subscribe to never miss any future uploads. And leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And with that being said, see you in the next one.